how are you? I hope you're having the best day ever, and I'm very excited to get to hang out with you today. It's been a while since I've done a home themed video, so I wanted to do one again, and I wanted it to not be a sit down video, but kind of like a walk you around and explain why I did the things I did type video. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Mikkel Jancy Smith now, and I live in a studio apartment. So I live in a small space. You can go watch my little tour. You can find it. I wanted to talk to you about how I make my tiny little home feel bigger. A lot of people could probably find this helpful. Your house is probably bigger than mine, but this is what I did to make my studio feel bigger. I wrote down a handy dandy list of everything I wanted to talk to you about. First and foremost, just kind of like a general rule of thumb, I decided that it is better for me to play with textures rather than color. So if you see my home, there's not a whole lot of colors going on. I try to, keep things pretty minimal, which is something I will further elaborate on. But for example, my throw pillows, for example, are all shades of white. So I wanted to keep it very minimalistic as far as color goes, but in order to bring interest, I played around with different textures. So that's a fun texture, that's a fun texture, lots of fun textures. And even on my bed, a plain white duvet with a fun kind of linen stripe texture. Lots of different textures, but very few different colors. In my opinion, doing that builds interest in your home, makes it feel cozier and warmer, a little bit more unique without being overwhelming, overbearing. Trust me, I love a fun, like anthropology, colorful pillow. And if I had a bigger house, I would totally play around with that. But I try to limit my pops of color. There's one, which we will get to. I find that the small little details of textures draws you in instead of you having to step back to take in a whole lot of color, if that makes sense. Next, this is obvious. This is something that people have probably talked about a lot. This wall right behind me is a white wall now. If you have followed me for the last year or so, when I moved into this place, that wall was painted baby blue. So to fix it, I did this bold navy blue, like gold specked wallpaper, which was so fun, but it really closed this place in. So I decided to take it down and paint this wall white. If I had like a really big home, I would love to do an accent navy wall, or if I had like a little study library and I wanted it to feel really cozy, just like inviting and warm, I would totally do a dark wall as well. But in here, the main goal was to make it feel light and bright and airy and open. So I painted that wall behind me white, and this place seriously felt like another 100 square feet bigger. So I'm really glad I did that. Plus it makes for a really good natural bounce for videos, so I'm well lit all the time. I literally have no lights on in the main room right now. I just have the light on in the kitchen. That is to prove to you that white walls do help bounce light. And speaking about bouncing light, the big thing that I did is add in mirrors everywhere I could. Here's a mirror, here's a mirror, and my favorite mirror is at my entry hall. I don't even know if you would call this an entry hall because you walk in and boom, there's the bed. So it's not really an entry hall, it's more like an entry nook. But I added this mirror here because it is one of the darkest places in the house. So at least it reflects some of this light from that window over there. And when you walk in, you feel like you're walking into this much bigger space because hello, I can see the room behind me instead of just walking in to a wall. Additionally, when you're sitting in bed, it's kind of fun to be able to see what's on the shelves over there. I also heard it's good feng shui to have a mirror next to your front door. I don't know why, but I'm here for it. One thing I've been having to teach myself lately is that more isn't necessarily more. I'm one of those people that I love lots of things on the walls. I actually used to say that blank walls give me anxiety. I just like the feeling of having very well decorated walls. But it's nice to kind of break up space and to give your eye a rest. So for example, up here in this corner, I did have this big bull head that was like, had gold horns and was really cool, but I decided to give your eye a break. So over here, I took it down to my dismay. Having less things on the wall made it feel less cluttered and somehow made it feel more open and bright. And another way you could do that is I'm a big fan of gallery walls. Trust me, I wish I could have a gallery wall, but I learned that having less pieces of art but bigger pieces of art does make your walls feel bigger. So for example, this huge piece of art back here, I still haven't rehung it to the correct height. It is hanging very low. That's something I haven't gotten around to. I need to hang it a few inches higher. I know, trust me. Being able to fit a piece of art that big on a wall almost kind of tricks your brain into thinking, wow, that piece of art is huge and there's still that much space on either side. That's a really big wall. This is a really big home. Might not be true. I had actually the little circle mirror by the front door above that desk, and since that was a much smaller piece, it felt much smaller over there. Next, I want to talk to you about flooring. So my house has very dark floors, and lightness just really does open up a space and make it feel bigger. So I made sure to get very light rugs. So this is just like a white, almost cable knit rug that it adds warmth with the texture, and it just looks very beautiful, but because it is light, it feels so much bigger in here. Peep these boxes, that is for an upcoming video. Try to guess what it is in the comments below. And over here, just to make things a little more interesting, I have this almost like whitewashed gray tone rug. I'm wearing my slippers. I always wear my slippers when I film. Because the floors are so dark, having those lighter color rugs really helps brighten up the space. Living in a city, we need privacy, we need window coverings, we need window treatments, but one thing that really helped me keep the privacy and also have a lot of light is various different types of sheer window treatments, all in different shades of white, if you can see a theme here. And your neutral color doesn't have to be white. It can just be any light color you like, a light blue, a light gray, anything lighter is really great, and then pick a couple dark pops, like my couch. My couch is black, so that's a pretty bold statement there, but everything else around it is light, so that is one of like my pop moments. But back to windows. So for example, I'm gonna be very backlit in these shots, but this is a sheer black and white curtain. I can't see out, people can't see in, unless I choose to show outside. Those are my neighbors. And in the kitchen, I have something very similar. These I got from Target, and I got them in like the college section, so they were so cheap. I think they were like $10. Almost like a gauze texture, like a cheesecloth kind of. Now, I think pops of color are important. I do think it adds personality to a space. If you like just neutrals, I think that's such a cool look. But in order to kind of warm it up, I pick like one pop of color for each space. So back here for the kitchen, I first wanted to break up the wood because the wood was very dark with a pop of color by using this blue table runner. And then over here in the main space, I wanted to do a pop of color with this kind of pink canvas. Sorry, Brooke, I know it's girly, but I like it. It's the only pink in the house. And then in the den, as I told you, I have a black couch. So that's kind of like my bigger, bolder choice there. Everything else is very light though, so it doesn't get overwhelming. The last tip I have for you for making your house look bigger is hide your crap. Hide your crap, and do that in very cohesive storage containers. So I will show you the types of things that I use. We have these 6 very cohesive, almost linen gray baskets that we use to hide so much crap. And the fact that they are all just like a very light, easy to look at neutral helps make the space feel so much bigger, and you can't see anything that we don't want you to see. I really like having open bedside tables. I feel like it just has more air. It makes the space feel bigger, but there are still essentials that you need to keep by your bedside table. I registered for these baskets when I got married. I have one and Brooke has one, and I picked them because they have lids. So there's my journal a day along with tons of other stuff. But those are all things that I use on a frequent basis, and boom, mess gone. Just to prove that Brooke's side has the same. And he has a much more masculine table than me. One more example just to show you. I have so many of these types of things, but I'll show you 3. This is where I keep all of my makeup, and it's so easy for me to just pull this out in the morning, do my makeup, pop the lid back on, put this away, and it looks so much cleaner over here. So those are just my tips and tricks, things that I have changed in my own home since I moved into such a small space that has helped it feel bigger. I'm always changing things around. In fact, my DIY piano stand is finally about to go because we have been still moving stuff out of Brooke's old apartment, and I had a piano stand custom made, and I'm very excited to move that in and kind of move things around. So things are always changing, my opinion's always changing, what I like is always changing, but those are the things I have changed so far, and I feel like I have gained space in this place, even though I have also gained a spouse and a lot more stuff because of wedding and spouse. Maybe it's magic. I don't know. If you try out any of these tips, let me know if they were helpful to you, and let me know if you like home videos. I love home videos. It's kind of hard to constantly create home videos when you live in one space, especially a small space, but I've always loved going over to other people's houses and giving them makeovers, so if that's something you would like, let me know and I will work on it. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you want to hang out with me more, I would love that more than anything. So press like, press subscribe, and you'll be notified when I post a video so we can hang out. Thank you, friends. I will see you next time, and I love you. Bye.